back again. So yesterday I was talking about the Stihl 500i, what a fantastic saw that was, and the 72SX from MTM, and also the 62cc chainsaw from Perlebarb, and that they were really good units. Well, today, because I had, you saw that, the carnage, that mess that I had to clean up today, I've taken one load to the dump, but it's gone really overcast and it started to drizzle, so I've got to wait. It's probably going to clear up, I'd say, but I'm going to have to wait. So in the interim, to do something useful rather than just sit on my ass, drink beer and watch YouTube, I'm going to sit on my ass, drink beer and tell you about this saw. So cheers. So I'm probably not going to, well, I'm not going to do any more trips to the dump because I've started drinking beer. Not that I'm going to drink a lot, but you know, even one can does affect you. And I'm not going to do any more chainsaw cutting because of the beer. Safety first. Yeah, safety first. Anything about safety? No. So anyway, the saw in question is the Yardforce 2x24 volt brushless lithium ion. That's nice and tight now. I'll just loosen that off. It does have a bit of a sort of a half-assed tightening, tensioning system. I did have the chain sort of come loose a bit. Yeah, I don't like this system. It's yeah, it is half-assed. It does work, but yeah, it's half-assed. The other one thing I don't like about it is that, as far as I can tell, I don't think there's any oil adjustment. You can't adjust the oiler. It oils how it does, which brings me on to another negative, and that is that you can only have the bar one way, which is with the riding upright. Okay, you cannot swap the bar over and use the opposite side like you do with other chains, with petrol chainsaws. You can't do that with this saw because of the oiling, because of the chain tensioning mechanism and the oiling mechanism. That chain tensioning mechanism is on one side only of the bar. It's a really weird affair, and the oiler hole is on this side, and that's it. So you can't swap it over. So it is going to wear out one side before the other. Is that really a big worry of, you know, people who would buy this? Probably not. No doubt you can get more bars and chains from Yardforce, or more bars anyway. Who knows how long it'd take to wear that out. But anyway, I just want to show you this. I'm impressed, really impressed. Wow. Okay, so what you see is this thing doing some serious work. For a saw of its size, of that piece of little bar and that piece of little chain, yeah, I'm seriously impressed. Like, so when I first bought this, because I thought, look, if I'm going to do a homeowner saw series, I've got to include at least one electric chainsaw, because they are, they are becoming somewhat, I won't say ubiquitous, but you can find them in every hardware store. Pretty much every hardware store has some sort of electric chainsaw, cordless chainsaw. So it's only right that I included this. $300 worth? Yeah. Do I think it's worth $300? Having used it, like properly used it, yes. So what happened was that I got up this morning and all the branches that I'd cut, all the bucking that I'd done yesterday, they still need to be trimmed down so that I can fit them in the trailer. And so I was just trimming off the smaller branches off the big branches, and this thing was just whizzing through it, and I thought, hang on a minute, I'm going to have a serious go. So I actually did a fair bit of ripping, making huge noodles that had no problems. It does have an overload light, so it tells you, hey, you're going to it's going to stall. So because it's a brushless motor, before it actually overloads, it cuts out and it says I'm overloaded, so it just cuts out. So there's a safety mechanism in there, which is good. That way you're not going to burn out. Well, with brushless motors you're not going to burn it out anyway probably, but it's a good safety mechanism, especially for people who don't know anything about chainsaws. So it is, what is it? Is it quarter inch or is it, I can't remember now, I'd have to watch my video again. I think it's a 325, but it looks smaller, it looks like quarter inch. But because it's got that tiny curve, it just goes through shit like butter. Admittedly, that is a green mango, but still, yeah, I'm seriously impressed by this. Again, the chain tensioning system and the oiling system, I'm not a fan of. I don't reckon it oils enough, but then I'm used to, I typically crank most saws up the oiling mechanism to the max. Better to have more oil on your bar than not enough. All right, it's just that simple. So the oil reservoir is, yeah, it's pretty simple. The twin batteries, it does balance. It does balance okay. Like I said before, I was expecting the two batteries on this side to really chuck it out of balance, but no. It's really well balanced. The chain brake works. Yeah. So the chain brake doesn't actually, it's not a brake. It's well, it's a circuit brake actually, because it breaks the circuit and it just kills the battery or kills the power. I don't like this. So you've got a dead man there. To get it going, you got to press that. See? Now, you look at that. Oh, I shouldn't have it going with the chain loose, but anyway. You look at that and you think, man, that's not going to do much. But I tell you what, well, you saw the footage. This thing cuts no problems. I think, so I've used it for about, I don't know, 40 minutes or so. And I've got one light and one light. So I reckon this would probably last, you've probably got about an hour of cutting, in my opinion. I would have almost, yeah, I did a fair bit of cutting with it. A fair bit. But you know what, if you're just camping, I think this is perfect for a camping scenario. If you're going camping, you don't want to make noise, maybe you're in an area where you're not supposed to cut anything, but don't do that because that's illegal. I didn't tell you to do that. So this would be a perfect candidate for a camping situation. You don't have to take any fuel. All you have to take is a little bit of bar oil, and that's about it. And yeah, I mean, know, you're not going to be cutting down a forest with it. You probably might only be cutting a little bit of firewood with it. It's perfect. I think this, yeah, this is probably, you know, car camping. This is probably a really good candidate. Like I said, I'm shocked. I was actually shocked by just how well this cuts. Yeah, it's not that hard to stall. Well, overload. It's not that hard to overload, because when it says it's overloaded, it just cuts out. So you can't, so that you don't damage it. But yeah, I did want to make this video because of just how impressed I am by it. Longevity, how long are the batteries going to last? How, you know, how long is the unit going to last? Full stop. I don't know. It would probably depend on how much use you put it through and how much abuse you put it through. I put it through a bit of abuse there, as you saw, because hey, how are you going to test the limits of a machine if you don't abuse it to a certain degree? Not to where you damage it, but, you know, push it to its limits. And I think I really did. I pushed it to its limits, and it performed, yeah, without a hitch. I really like this saw now. You know, when I first got it, regardless of how unbiased you want to be, and I wanted to be unbiased with all of these saws, okay? But there's always a degree of bias in the back, you know, back there. And there's no doubt about it, when I first got this out of the box and put it together and, you know, before I actually used it in wood, I thought, this thing looks like just a cheap piece of amateurish garbage. Well, and I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong, and I'm wrong. Oh, well, I was wrong. That bias that I had was wrong. This, yeah, you can do some serious cutting. Obviously, you've only got a 14-inch bar, but hey, you know, just for sort of small bucking and that, and cutting down small trees and that, not a problem. I wouldn't have a problem recommending this. $300, well, it's the cheapest one you can get. So, if you want an affordable cordless chainsaw that you can actually do something with, yeah, get yourself a Yardforce. There you go, Yardforce. Free plug from me. Yeah, I recommend it. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. So until next time, see you later.